Hey guys, so a lot of you have been asking me which action camera I prefer, whether I prefer the Action 2 or the GoPro Hero 10. So I'm just putting together this video for myself as well, so that I can actually see the differences between the two in terms of the footage and the audio and that kind of thing. So I'm recording on both of them at the moment. So this is the GoPro camera and this is the Action 2 camera. And yeah, so I'm just going to do some comparisons, tell you guys a little bit about the specs and what's different between the two and what's similar between the two, and then see which one I prefer after looking at the footage. So I've just been shooting a lot of clips and I've noticed that the Action 2 is definitely, the battery is definitely draining faster than the GoPro is. And let me just see what the battery levels are. So I started off with 100% for both batteries, and the Hero 10 is on so the Hero 10 is on 63% and the Action 2 is on 43%. So I think you're definitely going to get a lot more juice from the GoPro and get a lot more usage for your battery with the GoPro. I also just wanted to do this test as well, just because audio. So I'm filming on both cameras at the moment, and the audio from the GoPro is just coming directly from the inbuilt cameras, and also the audio from the Action 2 is coming directly from the inbuilt cameras. It's not really windy today, so I can't really do a wind test, but this is what the audio sounds like from both cameras. And it's also quite shady where I am at the moment, so I guess it would also be a good idea to test out the low light as well. So yeah, I'm just walking through some trees at the moment, and so this is what the footage looks like in lowish kind of light, and this is what the audio also sounds like. So as I've been walking, I've had stabilisation on both cameras. So the Action 2's got its HorizonSteady stabilisation on, and the GoPro Hero 10's got the Hyper Smooth stabilisation on, set to high. So what I want to do is just test the stabilisation on and off, just so that you can see side by side and see how they look. I have no idea what they look like, so I'm just doing all these tests just to see. So yeah, I'm going to do that. My battery on the Action 2 is now down to 29%, and the battery on the Hero 10 is down to 54%. But one of the things that I really want to quickly do before I do run out of battery on the Action 2 is just test out horizon leveling and HorizonSteady. So on the Action 2 you can only shoot with HorizonSteady at 2.7K or 1080, whereas with the GoPro you can shoot up to 4K and up to 120 FPS, and on the Action 2 you can only go up to 60 FPS. So I'm just going to try them out and see what they look like, but that's basically the specs of those two features on each of the cameras. Just looking at that, the HorizonSteady on the Action 2 definitely seemed better than horizon leveling on the GoPro. So yeah, that's what I just saw from looking at the screens. Distortion when you're shooting in super view with the Action 10 and ultra wide. I'm just getting so confused with these two different terms. So I think it's super view and super wide. So super view with the Hero 10 and super wide with the Action 2. The distortion with the Action 2 isn't as much as with the Hero 10, but it's really marginal. You can't really see it that much. But in terms of just having more in the frame, even when you're comparing it between standard with the Action 2 and linear with the Hero 10, the Action 2 definitely has a slightly wider field of view, which I just prefer. You're definitely going to get a lot more juice out of the GoPro battery. So I'm using the Action 2, just the camera on its own. I don't have my touchscreen module attached or a power module attached. And the GoPro battery is on, let me just check. So the GoPro battery is on 43% and the Action 2 battery is on 9%. I've been recording the exact same footage across both cameras and they both started off with 100% battery. So yeah, the Action 2 definitely drains a lot quicker than the GoPro Hero 10. And the thing about that is, yes, you can attach the touchscreen module to the Action 2 or the power module, but then you've not got a fully waterproof action camera. And you're also increasing the size, and the whole point of the Action 2 is the fact that it's so small. So that's one of the downsides to the Action 2, is that the battery life just seems to drain a lot quicker than obviously having something like the GoPro 10. And the thing is, if my GoPro 10 battery died, then I just switch out the battery and I just carry on with filming. But with the Action 2, I'm now going to have to charge up the camera or put the touchscreen module on and then continue to use the camera. So that's one of the downsides of the Action 2 and where the GoPro Hero 10 is definitely better. I'm going to get back home now, check out all the footage, listen to the audio and basically just make my decision based on which action camera I prefer. So I finished all the tests and I've made a little list of things that I found to be important between the two cameras so that I can determine which camera was going to be better than the other. So I've got my list here and I can't remember everything, so I'm going to actually read off my list. But I've got like little ticks and stuff. So first off is the frame rate. So filming 4K 30, 4K 60, 4K 120, both cameras did pretty much the same. There wasn't any difference there. So I'd basically give points to both cameras. For audio definitely goes to the Action 2. As I said, the audio just sounds a lot cleaner and clearer with the Action 2 than it does with the Hero 10. Then battery life, 100% goes to the Hero 10. The battery just lasted so much more than, lasted more than the Action 2. And yes, if you attach the touchscreen module to the Action 2, you're going to get more battery life, and it will probably do about the same as the GoPro Hero 10, but that's where the Hero 10 has the advantage, because you don't need anything extra for the battery to be extended, and you can just switch out the batteries as well, so quite easily. So definitely battery life and just usability of the batteries goes to the Hero 10. So colour just straight out of the camera if you're shooting normal in Action 2 and natural or vivid with the Hero 10. I definitely prefer the Hero 10, just because I think the colours look a little bit better, even though, like I said, it is warmer. I just think the Hero 10 looks better, but again, that's just personal preference for me. Then field of view, as I said before, goes to the Action 2, just because you've got a slightly wider field of view. Again, that's just my personal preference, but I just liked the wider field of view. But you guys make up your decisions based on what you've seen as well. And then, what else was there? So horizon leveling. So I gave points to both cameras for this, because like I said, the Action 2, when you rotate the camera and you move your arm and stuff, the horizon stays level with more rotation than the Hero 10 does, so that's why I gave the point to the Action 2 for that. But like I said before, with the Hero 10 can shoot 4K 120 with horizon leveling on, whereas the Action 2 could only shoot 1080 and 2.7K up to 60 FPS with HorizonSteady. So that's why I gave also a point to the Hero 10, because it just depends what you're filming and if you're actually bothered that you can't shoot 4K with HorizonSteady on the Action 2. I personally would want to shoot with 4K. If all my other footage was 4K, I'd want to output to 4K as well, so that's why I like the Hero 10 over the Action 2 for the Horizon thing. Low light, again, both of them, I didn't really see much difference between them in low light, so I gave a point to both, really. And stabilisation, definitely the Action 2, it just seemed a lot smoother, less jittery. The Hero 10 does well with stabilisation, but I just think the Action 2 just did a little bit better than the Hero 10. And then in terms of the flat colour profile, so I found that the Action 2 was my preference, just because I found it a lot easier to colour correct the D-Cinelike footage. Then the build quality, both cameras are awesome. I think the build quality of the Action 2 is great. It feels so well made. The Hero 10 as well, but just in terms of it being really rugged and you just not having to worry about it, falling off something or dropping, I think this point goes to the Hero 10, because I could literally chuck it across the road and not worry about it. If I threw my Action 2 across the road, not that I would do that, but I'd be really worried about the screen or the lens cracking, and if it did, then I'd have to send it off to DJI to be replaced. Whereas with the Hero 10, if anything happened to the lens, then I could just replace it quite easily. So yeah, in terms of the build, that goes to the Hero 10, if you want something more rugged anyway. In terms of waterproof, I also gave that to the Hero 10, just because, as it is out of the box without any modifications on it, you can take this camera out if you wanted to use it as an action camera, or you wanted to vlog with it. If it rained, you'd be absolutely fine. You wouldn't have to take off any modules or anything like that. And so I gave that to the Hero 10, because with the Action 2, if you again want that extended battery life, you have to attach the touchscreen module or the power module, and then the camera is just not waterproof anymore. So definitely give that to the Hero 10, because you can literally take it anywhere with you and not have to worry about battery or it being waterproof or anything like that. So definitely goes to the Hero 10 for the waterproofness. And then storage, again, goes to the Hero 10, because it's easy to switch out SD cards. Again, just out of the box, the Hero 10 is just equipped with everything that you need. You can switch out batteries, you can switch out SD cards, whereas with the Action 2, you're restricted to that internal memory. So if all you wanted to do was carry around the Action 2 with no modules, you're restricted to that 22-23 gig internal storage, whereas with the Hero 10, you can have as much storage as you want based on how many SD cards you've got. So storage definitely goes to the Hero 10. 2 more to go. So mounting options, I gave this to the Action 2 because I just love the magnets. I love how easy it is to just unclip and clip, and just, yeah, it's magnet. They're magnets, so you can put them anywhere that magnets will stick. So definitely that goes to the Action 2. And then lastly, the size. So again, that goes to the Action 2, but if you're not really bothered about the size, then that's fine. But like I said, with mounting, having the Action 2 rather than having the Hero 10 on my chest is a lot better. Same with my head. The Hero 10 just gets uncomfortable when I've got the head strap on, so having the Action 2 on my head is a lot better, especially with a helmet. So I mentioned this in another video. So when I was riding my motorbike, I used to have my GoPro Hero 6 mounted to my helmet, and when the wind hit it I could feel the weight of the camera. And so I imagine, I haven't tried it out yet because I can't ride my motorbike at the moment because I'm pregnant, but I will try it. But I can imagine that having the Action 2 on the helmet is going to be a lot better than having the GoPro Hero 10 on the helmet. So in terms of size and weight, definitely goes to the Action 2. So what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in terms of my scoring, the Action 2 got 9 and the Hero 10 got 8. But I will say that in terms of, I'm keeping both cameras, I've bought both cameras, but I will use each camera for different things. So if I just want to capture some FPV shots, I just want to have the camera mounted here and I'm just going around and I'm shooting some, I'm on a production and I want to capture some BTS, and I will always have the Action 2 on my chest capturing that FPV footage. And I'd probably also have my GoPro on top of the camera or on the cage somewhere capturing the rest of the stuff for the BTS. So, but in terms of FPV, if you're just more so interested in getting some FPV shots and you also want to use the camera for vlogging and get really great audio, then I would definitely say the Action 2 is for you. If you just want to capture some, like, sporadically capture action shots. Whereas if you're going to be doing more action stuff and you want something that's going to be rugged, you don't have to worry about it falling off something and smashing or anything like that. Like I said, I haven't smashed my Action 2. I don't know if that would actually happen because I didn't want to test it, but I just feel like the Hero 10 is definitely more rugged. So if you do more action stuff and you're only going to be talking to the camera, you know, a few times, so you do more action and less talking, then the Hero 10 is for you. So yeah, if you do more talking and less action, I'd say go for the Action 2. But if you do more action and less talking, then I'd say go for the Hero 10. I think for me, I would more likely go out with the GoPro than I would with the Action 2, just because of that battery thing. And also, if it was raining, there's absolutely no question that I wouldn't take the Hero 10 over the Action 2, because the battery life and having to attach the touchscreen module and then it just not being waterproof anymore. So yeah, hope you found this video useful. If you do give it a like and let me know in the comments below which one you prefer. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.